let's talk about budgeting. Ooh, yuck. That's no fun, but let's try to make it fun. Budgeting is a way that's going to make you understand what you can qualify for, what pushing it is qualifying for, and maybe if you don't want to qualify for so much, slowing it back and pulling it back as far as budgeting is. And you don't have to get in total depth with budgeting, but it's a good idea to do it to make sure you can see where you're at, where you're going to spend your money, where you currently spend your money, and where you might want to cut back on things in order to buy something that you want. So one of the things with budgeting is when somebody calls me and says, you know, I want to see what I qualify for and all of that, some of the first questions I ask are, do you want to know what your max qualifications are or what you're comfortable with? Because there's usually a very wide gap with that. Because a lot of people think, oh, I paid $200 or $2,000 for rent, I'm fine with that, and I can really get something great because I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, yada, yada, yada. And then some people say, oh, I've got to keep it at, you know, $1,600, which isn't going to give you much, and especially if you qualify for $3,200. So in some people's minds, they think that the $2,000 might be a lot or big, where it turns out maybe it's not. And then you might realize that maybe you're spending money somewhere else, that you could quit spending that, put it to the house to make you feel a little better. Because the things you have to remember when you're getting a house is, it's not just what you pay for your house. That's the easy part. The loan part in your rate, you know, whether it's 5.875 or 6.375, the rate and all that gives you your principal and interest, and that payment could be as low as $1,500. But then when you add taxes, insurance, flood insurance if you have it, if you buy in a homeowners association, HOA fees, all these things start adding up, and all those things make you qualify for a little less because you're now making that payment higher. So what you want to do is get an idea on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house without a pool, you might be okay somewhere in the $200 to $250 range, maybe. If it's your actual starter house, which I do tell people, try to build equity. Make this your first step. This isn't necessarily your forever home. It doesn't have to be the best. You don't have to break the bank, but take it in steps. Get that house, build equity, then take that equity and the money you've saved and move into the next bigger one. And then take that next step. You don't want to go from paying $2,000 a month in rent all the way up to $4,000 in a house payment. That's called sticker shock, and it's also something that we look at when we do your approval. So you want to do that. You want to sit down and you want to figure out what is your comfort level. But you also have to be willing to go up or go down, because your comfort level may not be enough for what you want. So you have to realize where you want to be that way. The other thing is you want to figure out, again, what your monthly payment you would feel comfortable with and what your lifestyle is. If you like to go out to dinner 2 and 3 times a week, then maybe spending $3,000 a month for a mortgage payment is not where you want to be. But maybe if you do go out 3 or 4 times a week and it costs you $50 every time you go, that's $150 a week. That is what, $1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $600 a month, which, okay, maybe I only go out 1 time a week, and I can take that other $400 or $500 and put it in my budget for my home. So those are, you know, that's another question. You want to think about what your lifestyle is compared to what your payments are going to be. And then the last thing you want to think of when you're budgeting to buy a home, are you planning on getting married? Or did you just get married? Are you planning on having kids? Are you planning on having a lot of kids? Maybe 1 kid. dogs, cats, that kind of thing. Do you want a house that's got a big yard? Do you want a house that has a small yard and a pool? Do you not want to pay for pool maintenance, or do you want to do the pool? So those are things you have to think about, because if you're buying your first home and you're buying it with your significant other who you're not married to yet, or you're not sure when you're going to get married, but you think it'd be a good investment now because you don't want to pay rent, well, you may not want that big, huge house. Maybe get the starter house and build into it. And then if you decide to get married, maybe buy a little bit bigger. Or then maybe if you decide, yep, within a year or 2 years, we want to have children. So, instead of that 3-2, and the bathroom is this big, and, the one that's going to share with all the people that come visit you is going to be the baby's bathroom or the kid's bathroom. Maybe you want a 3-3, or maybe having that extra bathroom is something you might want. So let's budget that in for the next time we do it, and we know where we need to save our money. So budgeting isn't always bad. It's just taking a look at what you do, what you want, and where you want to be to get there. And I'm here to help you do that. And I can always help you do budgeting and, and figure out what you want and where you want to be. So give me a call, Dawn Hall, Van Dyke Mortgage, 239-789-7561, your lender for life.